Do you think you know what an average day is like? On Olympus, even boredom has thunder. The sound that tears through the sky is not of war. It's just Zeus, stretching. The impact makes the marble tremble and wakes even those who were trying to ignore the morning, including Dionysus, who drops his own cup and doesn't even bother to pick it up. Cut to the banquet. Golden cups falling, Hera fixing someone with the look that knocks them down faster than any lightning bolt, and Apollo tuning the lyre, just to irritate Ares, who holds back the urge to break the instrument in half. And it's at that moment that you realize, here, nothing is really ordinary. Every conversation is a polite duel, every smile is a polite trap, and even wine can have ulterior motives. The secret and ridiculous side of this routine quickly becomes apparent. Poseidon trying to look busy during meetings, Hermes spreading gossip with the speed of a whirlwind, Artemis and Apollo competing to see who can ignore the other the longest. Today, you will spend a whole day on Olympus. You'll see how the most powerful life in mythology is also the most chaotic, futile, and at times, downright embarrassing. Because when you bring together immortals with infinite pride, not a minute passes without a provocation, a challenge, or a disaster. And here comes the important question. If you lived here, would you survive breakfast? Think about it. On Olympus, even your opinion can become gossip and a sentence.
The sun has not even risen yet for mortals, but at the top of Olympus, the clouds already shine with liquid gold. The view is divine. The silence lasts less than a sigh. I use the sun first, not even in your dreams, Apollo. The sharp tone between Apollo and Artemis shatters the morning like an arrow through glass. They're not arguing about territory, war, or glory. It's just about who gets to use the sun first. And on Olympus, this is a matter of honor. On the golden throne, Zeus sits, still in his divine robe with a cup in his hand. He does not intervene. With each sip, he seems more content to let the others consume themselves. Maybe that's the true ultimate power, not even having to get up to cause chaos. Hera, next door, has already plotted 3 revenge plots before noon. She doesn't announce anything. A single look, and the target already starts to feel cold, even above the clouds. In the courtyard, Ares trains alone, each sword stroke louder than the last. And it is not discipline. He is rehearsing for the moment when Aphrodite will pass by. And when it appears, even the statues accidentally straighten up, competing for attention. On the other side, Hermes runs non-stop, carrying more gossip than messages. You see him whisper something in Athena's ear, and the slight raise of her eyebrow is already a verdict. On Olympus, even the wind carries poison. Silence is never peace. It's just the pause before someone decides to turn breakfast into a battlefield. Would you wake up early or pretend to sleep until the fights were over?
Morning provocations never die small on Olympus. They grow. They multiply, and in a few hours they become incidents that would make a mortal pray to be forgotten. Dionysus, for example, decides that the gathering of the gods needs more lightness and replaces all the water with wine. The thing is, he doesn't tell anyone. When Poseidon realizes he is hydrating himself with a divine vintage red, it is already too late. The glass flies, the waves churn, and half the room gets drenched. Meanwhile, Hermes walks around with his stack of messages, trying to keep order. But Athena, with a smile that fools no one, by mistake, takes her strategic scrolls. She doesn't even really read. She just likes to see Hermes chase her around the room like a mortal chasing a boar. And in the corner, Apollo continues to strum the lyre, not to compose, but to accompany Artemis's irritated voice as if it were part of the melody. Each note is calculated to make her a little angrier. Here, even being lazy is a competition. Hephaestus pretends to be busy hammering, but the rhythmic sound is just to avoid having to participate in conversations. Aphrodite, reclining, observes everything with the calm of someone who knows she doesn't need to lift a finger to cause twice as much trouble. You, in the middle of this board, begin to feel the invisible weight of the gazes. None are casual. Each one carries judgment, challenge, or threat. How long could you last before you irritated someone without realizing it? Hermes bumps into you, dropping a scroll. Athena takes it before you can return it. Sharp smile. Interesting. Very interesting. If every look were a spear, you would already be on the ground. And it's just the beginning of the day. On Olympus, lunch doesn't arrive without at least 3 insults being exchanged and a secret plan being in motion. You just don't know yet if you'll be invited or used.
Not every secret on Olympus is kept silent. Some explode in the middle of lunch. Flashback. The golden hall. Tables laden with fruit that only exists above the clouds. Wine that sparkles under the light. And that false atmosphere of harmony that only deceives the younger gods. Hera is in the center, smiling. Not a smile of joy. It's the kind of smile that precedes an execution. On the table, a gold necklace with still wet sea stones. No one dares to touch. She lifts the necklace and speaks softly, but all of Olympus hears. Curious. Gift for a nymph. Gift. From whom? Zeus leans back, as if he's already gotten used to this game. But everyone notices the little electric arc that runs through his fingers. He's not relaxed. He's getting ready. Ares stops eating. Athena watches, calculating how to use the moment. Dionysus just drinks more wine, as if the show were part of the menu. Then, without warning, Hera summons the clouds. A clap of thunder splits the table in half. Water invades the floor, and the perfume of the banquet flowers mixes with the smell of ozone. On Olympus, dessert comes with a threat. Would you keep eating or run? The storm is not chaotic. She is surgical. Each bolt of lightning falls inches away from anyone who dares to look too much at Zeus or try to hide a smile. Aphrodite sighs. I can't even wear a necklace in peace. And this only increases the tension. Hera doesn't want to destroy lunch, wants to mark territory. And everyone gets the message. Every last mortal in the room feels their skin crawl. What if the storm was just the first course? Because on Olympus, an ordinary day can end in war, and sometimes it can start that way too.
On Olympus, no competition is truly friendly. It only starts with smiles. The fight of the day is between Apollo and Hermes. The challenge? Deliver the most messages before sunset. The prize? An extra throne at the evening banquet, which means more eating, more drinking, and more being seen. On Olympus, this is worth more than gold. Zeus, amused by the idea, bangs the gavel. Go. And in the blink of an eye, Hermes was gone, leaving only the sound of winged sandals cutting through the air. Apollo, of course, doesn't run. He struts along, as if time itself had to adjust to his rhythm. But with each step, the lyre plays a note that, curiously, opens doors, distracts guards, and even hypnotizes unsuspecting messengers into delivering messages for him. Hermes is not far behind. If Apollo uses charm, he uses tricks. He exchanges messages between gods to delay rivals, delivers the wrong invitations just to watch the chaos unfold, and even leaves fake notes for Hera in the name of Aphrodite just to see the war start sooner. Who would you bet on? All of Olympus begins to follow, as if it were a chariot race. Ares yells, "Go!" to one, then the other, just to confuse them. Dionysus tries to sell bets. Athena just watches, as if she were already calculating the best way to use the result to her advantage. As the day progresses, the messages become more suspicious. Some sealed with golden wax, others with a simple but dangerous design. An apple. Aphrodite smiles when she sees the symbol, but he doesn't comment. The golden snitch is not yet a topic, but it will be. Or would he stay away before the prize turned into a curse? As the sun begins to set, they both arrive at the central hall with stacks of messages. Hermes panting, but victorious. Impeccable Apollo, claiming that quality counts more than quantity. Zeus, How about we settle this with another challenge at the banquet? And so, friendly competition ensures that the night will be even more dangerous than the morning.
The evening banquet begins as always. Chaotic. The golden hall of Olympus glows under blue torches. The aroma of honey, wine, and roasted meats mixes with the scent of heavenly flowers falling from the ceiling. But any idea of a quiet meal dies at the first toast. Zeus slams his staff on the ground. Silence! Thunder echoes, but no one obeys for more than 3 seconds. Ares is already teasing. So, Hermes, how many messages delivered and how much confusion created today? His smile is sharper than his sword. Hermes responds with another taunt, and Apollo, unable to bear being left out of the conversation, begins to sing improvised verses, describing Ares as a noisy blacksmith who thinks he is a poet. Ares laughs, but not really. Hera decides to interrupt, not to calm down, to make it worse. Interesting. I see some here spent the day chasing after tickets, while others made suspicious gifts for nymphs. Her gaze pierces Zeus like a blade. He pretends not to hear, but the golden sparks running through his hands give him away. Dionysus, seeing the tension, stands up and offers everyone more wine. Nothing like a cup to extinguish or light the fire in the heart, and he pours the purple liquid into already full glasses, ensuring that no one leaves sober. Who would tell you to shut up first? The conversation turns into a verbal war. Athena, who had been silent until then, makes a pointed comment about how strategy is more important than volume. Ares retorts with something about strategy being useless without courage. Apollo strikes a chord that interrupts the argument, but only to sing about how courage is useless without beauty. The entire room explodes with laughter, irony, and insults disguised as compliments. Each sentence is a spear adorned with flowers. What if this was the last meal before war? And for a moment, it looks like it will be. The wine spills onto the table like anticipated blood. The dishes fall to the floor, breaking like fragile rings. Zeus rises, but not to impose order. He just smiles, because on Olympus, even chaos is entertainment.
Laughter still echoed off the golden walls when the doors to the hall opened with a sharp bang. The sound did not come from thunder. It was Hermes, coming in like an arrow, without his usual ready-to-joke smile.
The winged sandals beat the ground like hurried drums. He stopped in the center, panting, and lifted a scroll sealed with black wax. Silence fell so quickly that even the torches seemed to burn lower. Zeus narrowed his eyes. Home. Hermes swallowed hard. Tomorrow. Unexpected visit. The phrase was simple, but on Olympus, unexpected is never casual. Ares leaned forward, like a dog that smelled battle. Hera crossed her arms, calculating whether this was an opportunity or a threat. Athena didn't move, but the gleam in her eyes showed she was already 3 steps ahead. Who would dare show up without an invitation? Dionysus broke the silence with an almost amused tone. I hope they bring wine, or a good reason to interrupt my glass. Aphrodite, playing with her hair, gave a venomous smile. Maybe they bring more than wine. Maybe they bring intrigue. The scroll remained closed in Zeus's hand. No one needed to open it to know that on Olympus, unexpected visitors often leave more than just footprints. They leave trails of blood. What if we were to declare war? Hermes didn't wait for any more questions. He turned and disappeared into the corridors, leaving behind him a silence so heavy that the banquet lost its flavor. Even Dionysus stopped drinking.
Zeus doesn't think twice, points the staff at you. You will receive the visitor. The whole room spins towards you. There is no applause, just looks that mix curiosity and pity. Hera raises an eyebrow, a half smile that doesn't bode well. What an honor, or is it punishment? You realize there's no manual for this. On Olympus, hospitality and hostility have the same root, and often the same knife. Would you smile or sharpen your sword? Ares is already buckling on his armor, as if his mission were just a pretext to start a war. Athena, on the other hand, approaches and whispers, preparing for the worst is the same as inviting it. Dionysus pours wine into his cup without asking. You'll need this. At least the wine will mask the fear. The air in the hall gets heavier. The conversation changes tone. Now it's no longer provocations, but veiled instructions, warnings disguised as advice. Aphrodite leans towards you, her scent enveloping you like a trap. If it's someone you betrayed yesterday, smile. The poison works better that way. What if the visitor was a god you betrayed yesterday? The fate is already sealed. The eyes of the gods say the same thing. Be a perfect host or a perfect corpse. On Olympus, both are received with pomp.
The first tremor is subtle, like distant thunder. The second makes the wine tremble in the glasses. The third spills Ares' wine. And that, in itself, is reason for war. The columns vibrate and a colossal shadow begins to cast itself across the golden walls. It's not dawn, it's something that blocks the light. Hera squeezes the arm of the throne, as if she already recognizes the silhouette. Athena tilts her head, measuring every inch of the shadow. Dionysus just smiles. For him, anything is a reason for more wine. Would you hide or stay and watch? Zeus does not get up. He watches. And the fact that Zeus doesn't move says more about the danger than any warning. The ground cracks beneath your feet. The air feels heavier, as if each breath is difficult. Aphrodite takes a step back, not out of fear, but to ensure that if she needs to run, she won't trip over her own robe. And then, the sound. It's not a voice, it's not a roar. It's somewhere in between, low enough to make marble vibrate and your heart race. What if the ordinary day became the last? The shadow swallows the entire room. You can't see the visitor, but you feel it. And on Olympus, feeling before seeing is rarely a good sign. The next step will not be his, it will be yours. Because when the door opens, the ordinary day ends.
Silence weighs more than any thunder.
All the gods are looking at the entrance. You, too. The sound of the visitor's footsteps is slow, deliberate. Each one echoes as if they had all the time in the world, and as if they knew that no one there would dare interrupt. You don't see the face yet, just the hand, enormous, pushing the golden doors. Hot air rushes in, bringing with it a smell of ash and burnt iron. Cliffhanger. If you think the day was long, wait until you see how the next one begins. Because the next one doesn't start with sunshine, music, or banquets. It begins with a declaration of war. What if the visit is for you? You feel all the eyes of Olympus turn to you. There is no more routine. There is no more ordinary day. From now on, it's survive or fall together. The next video reveals who dared to challenge Olympus at dawn. Subscribe now and like before they're knocking on your door.